But when it comes to issues of abortion, the president can't address that. The president must focus on getting people to work and making sure that the people can be able to provide for their families and security of the country. That's his job.
Well, that's just the point, though, Jimmy. Jimmy, isn't that just the point that the president's economic policy has failed? His policy to reduce the deficit has failed. His policy to pay down our national debt has failed. The debt is now equal to the entirety of our economy. So isn't the idea here that the president must distract from his failed record social issue?
Because of what we are talking about right now, what the president should address as a part of his agenda, and that is why. This is why all of them have done it. Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, go back to the first president till current. They all have not functioned their duties as president of the United States. The reason the country is in critical economic condition, and you are right. This is why, because no one can see a better way to improve. They say because they're so used to it becoming accustomed to that the president must, if they got used to it, this is why the country have nothing today. Because everyone thinks it's right. And it is not right. You can't get the country together. The reason the country has fallen in economic critical condition because of the way we think he's supposed to, what we're talking about right now, the president should make this a part of his agenda. And that, I disagree with that.
Rick, I want to know, do you believe that the president's handling of this issue is simply a means to distract from his failed economic policy?
The simple answer is no. The longer answer is, this election will come down to a lot of different things. Obviously, people care about the economy, jobs and all that, but how you go about actually building a stronger country for the 21st century is a complex issue. Wars are part of it. The fact that we're at war now in one place, lining down the Iraq one, I guess. But the fact that we're still in Afghanistan, that's relevant. The fact that one candidate may or may not want to put us into Iran, that's relevant. The fact that our infrastructure is decrepit, that's relevant. I live in the South, and the South is infamously terrible at infrastructure.
You can't get anywhere. Down in South Carolina right now, things seem pretty good by me.
Oh, wait till
this is why I rose to the surface, because it may be relevant to all of you young men and women, but at the same time, the president has no economic policy. You don't give $49 billion of the people's money to General Motors, $25 billion to Chase Bank, Bank of America, Citicorp, Discovery, and Goldman Sachs and Goldman Stern, because when the president did that, you automatically became a shareholder of each and every bank and corporation that the government gave your money to. The president signed off on it, $300 billion approximately, in a capital purchase program. Now, I understand about the infrastructure, but before you talk about that, no one is paying attention to you are a shareholder of every bank in America. So, and all of this would have been resolved. So what we are not doing is paying attention to what the government has done. And we can talk about the infrastructure, what needs to be done, but what about your money? What about your money that the government student loan is already paid for? Healthcare is already paid for. Money for infrastructure is already paid for. But the question, I'm here to direct everyone how to get that money.
I agree with you completely. This is why the president, I think, has introduced this new campaign slogan of
too damn high.
Because if voters ever look back,
have no economic, financial budget, any way you want to put it. He has none. He signed off on this. George Bush signed off on it. Ronald Reagan signed off on it. Bill Clinton signed off on it. I could go on and on. They all signed off on it. But I want you all to look at this different. You all are giving information based upon what they have led your parents to believe, and you heard it, now you believe it. You are a shareholder of General Motors by 61%. Every bank in America by 41%. Where is your money, and where is the transparency concerning the money that is owed to you by the U.S. Department of Treasury? So this is what I'm making sure everyone understands. And I will be addressing that at the convention tomorrow.
Yeah, Rick, where's my money? Where is my money? And how is the president ever going to distract from his failed record to win this election in November?
What's
that? Well, dealing with the bailout of the bailout of the auto industry, that's been a success. All of those companies are back up and running. They're producing wonderfully. The government is actually, the Treasury, excuse me, is making bank on those loans, given that we, of course, went from the interest. So that's actually successful. And it's kind of funny that now Mitt Romney is going around trying to claim credit for the general idea while nonetheless trying to disavow the actual implementation of that idea. So I find that hilarious. But, you know, there are a lot of different opinions on the bailout, you know, TARP and all the rest of that. I happen to think that they were necessary to kickstart the economy. You know, maybe they were too big, maybe they were too small. I don't know. I'm not an economist. But I don't think the idea that we should have just let the economy bottom out and then rebound, if it would at all, was a responsible way to deal with that problem back in 2008. And I'm glad that President Bush didn't see it that way. I'm glad President Obama didn't see it that way. And I'm glad that bipartisan coalition.
Well, I'm going to tell them, like, as a businessman, they should have read the fine print. And the fine print is the Constitution. Under the 14th Amendment called equal protection, you can take the people's money and bail them out while the people were still paying you off and you still owe, and the people are still in your debt. Under the 8th Amendment, the Constitution, they should have read the fine print before they took this money, called cruel and unusual punishment. The United States government is not being transparent to the United States citizens because that is our money. So when we go to talk about the problems that exist, the only thing you can make of it is that we have a government that can't count. They can't count. No regard for the people. Cruel and unusual punishment. It's in the fine print of the Constitution of the United States. And this is what I want to help every young person understand, that I'm coming to make sure that you all understand that your college tuition, your $85,000 in debt, is already paid for. But the question is then, you will receive from the higher education department, a company called Mohila, if not a direct loan. They're coming to get their money from you. But the question is, you don't owe a dime. But they're not going to tell you, but it's up to the government to work to erase this debt that you all have. And this is why I'm here. They need someone to come and get it.
Well, it's a very good point. I'm glad that we are not distracting anymore on these issues of gay marriage, but unfortunately that's our show today. So, Rec, thank you for inserting your incorrect but very valued and opinion. Jimmy, we want to say Jimmy is actually addressing the Oklahoma State Republicans tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow, May 11th.
So if you'd like to catch him, you can find Rec on the internet. You can find me at michaelknowles.net. You can find Jimmy at renttalk.us and jimmymcmillan.org. You're going to be hearing a whole lot more from Jimmy this week
and I will be talking
and in the coming weeks of this campaign. So thank you all so much for tuning in and have a good night.
All right, Rex.
I'm going to go back to the beach. Have a good night.
Good night.
Take care, Jimmy.